On the airwaves of D93, Samantha and Phil, telling our story week after week, spreading love and joy for all to see. Oh yeah, we'll keep on dancing, we'll keep on singing, our hearts are open, our love is bringing.
Hello and welcome to D93 News, presented by Idaho Farm Bureau. A huge shout out to our guest host last week who helped us celebrate episode 300.
I sure love that. They did such a great job. Also, a huge thank you to our community who has been so supportive of D93 News throughout the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Our top story this week comes from the State Department of Education. They were in town this week as part of their post-legislative tour. This is always a great opportunity for the D93 administrative team to learn more about the changes that were made during the legislative session.
We're here to talk in Region 6 to our superintendents of districts, business managers, school board members. We get teams from the districts to come, and then we walk through what the new laws are going to look like, what the financial implications are of the budget, and just get a good jump start on the next school year.
Now, we asked Superintendent Critchfield what she was most proud of during the legislative session.
I think getting a supplemental gap filled between how we fund schools, a change that was made last year, making sure our districts can access the full $330 million that was additional money coming into schools. And I think just in general, working with other legislators to make sure that education policy that comes out is the right fit for schools.
So what does this all mean for our community right here in D93?
Two great things came out of the session. One is more money or state money into school facilities, repair, deferred maintenance, expansions. It's a historic investment, over $1 billion of 10 years, not just to D93, but statewide. And then again, additional dollars coming into public schools. That schools will be able to make those local decisions on how to best fit the needs in their communities.
We'll, of course, have more on all of this in future editions of D93 News.
Now, the Bonneville Hope Squad brought their incredible energy to Summit Hills Elementary on Monday, hosting a special assembly focused on promoting wellness.
We are helping Summit Hills. They have their Hope Week starts today in their assembly. So we're oompa-loompas because their theme is Wonka. And then we're going to introduce a walking challenge so that we can promote self-care, exercise, meeting new friends. So Wednesdays and Thursdays for the rest of the year, we're going to come over to Summit Hills and walk with them. And they'll get a little charm to go on a bracelet every time they walk and a raffle ticket that will go in for a drawing at the end of April and at the end of May. So just to promote exercise, happiness, friendship, and get people moving.
Now, speaking of wellness, here's this week's EIRMC Health Minute presented by Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center.
In this day and age, it is critical that you have safety with your cell phone. And when you're having this conversation with your teen, preteen, you need to have this conversation before you even buy them their first phone. The three things that you need to focus on with your child is what's the amount of time they're going to spend on their phone. You ask your child, what is the amount of time that is safe to be on a phone? Experts advise that no more than 2 hours a day on all electronic devices. The second piece is, who are your children communicating with? What apps are they using? Because you guys need to both make sure you're on the same page. You need to talk to your children about how predators will try to communicate with them. They're sneaky, they're smart. They've been doing this for a long time. The third step is how to verify that your child is being safe. So I can verify that you're being safe. I want to check your texts. I want to read your apps, different things. Let's have that discussion about what the passcode is, and I want you there because I want to look at it with you, and let's have a discussion. If your child already has a cell phone, you can establish these boundaries with them at any point. That's the joy of being a parent. Try and keep that communication flowing with your child.
Cell phones weren't really a thing, at least when I was little.
No, both of us.
They are a powerful tool, but you need to be careful with them, especially with kids.
I remember my mom had a cell phone in high school. That was like pretty fancy town. But like, no, it wasn't a smartphone, I'll tell you that. And you got to be careful with that stuff and how much exposure. And one person who knows all about that is Ken Marlowe. He does so much for us, and he was on this week's D93 News podcast with Lori.
If parents out there need help or have questions, if kids out there, they can always contact the district.
Yep.
You have people all that work under you, and then we have all of our schools have licensed counselors.
Yep.
So that we can get this information. But
We also have the help alerts. So
Yes.
students can always access that. Dr. Wollstonhume has done a great job developing that help alert that kids can go in and self-report or report for a friend, and we'll follow up on those things. We also have like Gaggle and Bark, which are, screening programs for all district devices and programs.
Yeah.
So technology gets screened, and if we come across something like that, we follow up as well.
Now you can catch that entire episode on Spotify. We'll have a link to it in tomorrow's Family Update. We might have a show next week. We might not. We try to do a show every week, but this isn't our primary responsibility. We have a communications team. We don't have a TV news team. And so we both have a lot of things happening this week. We'll try and get you a show, but if not, we'll definitely have some updates in the Family Update. That's priority number one for communicating.
That's right.
On Thursdays. And when can people see that?
6 o'clock.
6
I
o'clock.
try to get it out right at 6 o'clock. And of course, if you're not receiving the newsletter, go ahead and give us a call here at the district office, and we'll make sure that you are getting it or sign up to get it. Patrons anyone can get this newsletter. It's not just everyone, like parents in D93. We really want the community to know what's going on in D93.
And we usually post a link to that on Facebook, so if you're not part of that, but if you do want to sign up to be alerted of those, just reach out to us and we'll get you on there. But for now, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you some other time, maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now.
We'll see you next time on D93
Next time.
News.